Hi, my name is TJ Temple, and welcome to my podcast. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this as quick of an episode as possible. I'm not going to try to drag it on out too long. I'm going to try to get it within about 10 to 12 minutes because March Madness is happening right now as we're talking, or as you're listening to this. And as I'm talking right now, March Madness is happening. I tried to record this yesterday, as you're listening to this Wednesday. Tried to record it yesterday, Wednesday, and it wasn't a good take. I didn't like the way I sounded, so I'm going to try it again today, see how things go. If I'm talking too fast, I apologize. Like I said, I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to record this as quickly as I can because March Madness is happening right now. Like literally as I'm recording, March Madness is happening. And as you're listening to this, March Madness is still going on. So before I get to the March Madness talk, I want to talk about my week so far. It has been hell. It has been absolute positively hell. Especially in terms of my mental state and my emotional state, it has not been good. But it's going to be on the up and up because March Madness starting today. So it's getting better. I'm in a much better spot than I was 48 hours ago, or even 72 hours ago for that matter. I was probably 48, maybe 60 hours ago. I'm in a much better spot now than I was then. So I'm much better than I was. But this week has not been good. I've gone through a lot of personal stuff, and that is why this week has not been a good one for me mentally and emotionally. And I am, first of all, I'm sincerely grateful to everybody who listens to this podcast, because I didn't think anybody would listen to this. I thought this would be another bomb. I think anybody would listen, but lo and behold, people are listening, and I am truly grateful for that. We're going to try to get more interactive too on this podcast. I'm going to add a little Q&As and polls at the bottom of the Spotify page. If you're just on Spotify, like of each episode, you'll see a Q&A. You'll see a question you can respond to, or you'll have a poll you can answer too. It won't be the same question or the same poll every week, but it'll let me have an opportunity to be more interactive with you guys. Instead of just, me talking, you listening. Because I don't like just that. I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your comments, your questions. I would like to do a Q&A episode sometime maybe, or a feedback episode where I respond to feedback or respond to what you guys send me, whether it's via the email, social media, or voice messages. I would like to have the opportunity to do a Q&A or like a feedback thing sometime, because like I said, I just don't want to be talking into a microphone and you listening to me. I want this to be interactive. I don't want this just to be a one-way thing here. I want to be interactive. I want to be able to talk with you instead of to you. That's really what I want this podcast to be. But I do sincerely appreciate everybody who has listened to the podcast thus far. And I am truly grateful to everybody who has listened thus far. It means a lot to me, and I hope we can continue to grow this. We're getting there. I want it to be something that is not just something that's big. I don't want this to turn out, so to speak, big. If it is big, that's great, but that's not the intention here. The intention here is to help people out and to, just be there when you're going through a tough time, or if I want to be there for the good times and the bad times, I want to, you get what I'm saying. As I said in the first episode of this podcast, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to stumble over my words. So just I hope you all remember that from the first episode. Okay, so real quick, what I wanted to talk about this week is March Madness, but not in the terms of the teams or the seedings or the matchups or anything like that. March Madness is just another great example of how sports bring us together, and I'll tell you why. In my view, there are two things that bring us together more than anything, and that is music. You see people at a concert all the time of different backgrounds, of different races, of different everything, just singing along to music, whether that be country, rock, pop, whatever the case may be, whatever the genre is. We all go to a concert to hear our favorite bands, to see our favorite singers or bands in person and sing along to their music, and so do hundreds of thousands, even millions of other people do that as well. And also, sports is a great uniter. It provides excitement. It provides energy. It provides anticipation, too, of going to your favorite ballpark or your favorite football stadium, or in this case, your favorite basketball arena to watch a basketball game, to root on your team to make it far in this wonderful tournament that lasts 3 weeks. It is really one of the greatest sporting events in America. No question about it. And again, it's not just because of its buzzer beaters, its Cinderella stories, its magical moments. It is about how it brings us together as a country and as a society, really. Because just today, as I'm recording this, at work, at where I work, we were talking about brackets. We were talking about which teams we had in the Final Four and whatever. That's how sports bring us together. Sports don't really divide us. I mean, we have our own opinions on what our sports team should do. Trust me, in this sports crazy town of Pittsburgh, people have strong opinions about what our sports teams should and should not do. Believe me. And I am one of those people who have some strong opinions about my favorite sports teams. I don't like the Pirates because of their owner, who just cares about what goes on around the team instead of what's on the field. And that's why they'll never get into the playoffs for the next 50 years. But that's besides the point. The point of this, what I'm saying to you now, is March Madness. I'm a NASCAR fan, which I want to discuss in a later episode, and why I don't think that should be so controversial nowadays. But anyway, March Madness, the Daytona 500 as a NASCAR fan, the Indianapolis 500 as a fan of racing in general, as a fan of IndyCar, the Super Bowl, the World Series, big major events, sporting events, bring us together in ways that not really anything else but music does. And that's why I love this time of year specifically. I love March Madness because it brings us all together. It gets us excited for 3 weeks of nothing but basketball. And for me personally, mental health wise, it's a bright spot in my life because I don't think about anything else when March Madness is on. Just basketball. Nothing else. Everything else in the world, for me, gets cut off by this tournament because it is just a wonderful time of year. For me personally, I circle it every year on my calendar, especially this day, the first full day of the tournament. 16 games across 4 networks. It's wonderful. It is really the best day of the year on the sports calendar, that is. And, I mean, if you're a fan of sports or if you're a fan of life, you love this day. Because this is a day that we just celebrate being with each other and just watching basketball. That's really what this is about. This sports and music. Those two bring us together, and March Madness does that better than anything. So that'll do it for this episode of I Got Something to Say. I do appreciate it, and as you heard, I was talking very fast. I apologize. If I would recommend slowing this episode down if you didn't quite catch everything I said. If I think you can do that on Spotify, is just slow it down just a little bit so you can fully grasp what I'm saying. I did talk a little fast this time, and I sincerely apologize for that. Don't worry, the next episode will be slowed down and more drawn out. But I try to do this in a quick manner because, as I said at the top of the episode, March Madness is happening as I'm recording right now, and as you're probably listening to this. So that's why I try to make it a little bit quick. So I could be watching the games. But if you're watching March Madness, enjoy the games. Hopefully your bracket isn't destroyed by the time we get to the weekend. If you're not watching March Madness, happy St. Patrick's Day for those that are celebrating. Be safe while you're doing so. That's also very important. Be safe while you're celebrating. And I'll talk to you all again next week.